stop drinking entirely or learn to even cut back safely and effectively at home with these 4 proven strategies. Whether you're looking to cut back to quit alcohol once and for all, or you just simply want to take a little break and then reintroduce it and learn to be a healthy, moderate, responsible drinker, these 4 strategies have been proven successful in my life and for Magnify Method clients alike. What's up, my free and powerful friends? Magnify Maggie here. I'm the creator of the Magnify Method, which is the alternative recovery approach that teaches you to think different in order to drink different or never again. We're all about magnifying the good so that you're starving the darkness and feeding the light. So make sure that you subscribe if you're into this inspirational and educational content to help you free yourself from the binds of addictive behavior. First things first, when we're assessing how to cut back, it's very unique for each individual. So the first step is to assess where you are with your current drinking habits. And if you find that you've been drinking every day at high risk, meaning 5 or more alcoholic servings every day, then you're likely going to need to progressively wean yourself off. It's going to be too dangerous and too abrupt of a shift for your body to go completely sober in just one day, in just 48 hours. So we're definitely going to want to take that progressive approach for you. So here's some things to start looking at if you find that this is your group, this is the category that you belong to. If you've watched some other videos, you already know about the pour some out for the homies method, meaning that whatever you're drinking from, your can, your bottle of wine, whatever that is, pour out some of that serving. If you can pour out the whole can, go ahead and do that so that instead of the 12 pack, now you're drinking 11. Instead of the 11 pack, now you're drinking 10. Instead of 4 glasses of wine, now you're drinking 3.5 or 3. Or instead of a pint of vodka, now you're drinking a pint minus a shot. So pour a little out for the homies before you get started drinking on your daily endeavor and your daily habits. Next up, remember that attitude is everything and that what you give energy to grows. I know for myself, when I was locked into my daily drinking habits, my addictive, dangerous drinking behavior, I was really ruminating over all of my past shame and guilt that I had associated with my alcoholic drinking. So the moment that I actually stopped putting energy to that, I stopped repeating the cycle. Your mind is amazing in that it's going to create your future just like the past if you are stuck in a rumination mode over it. So instead of continuing to give that energy, starve that. Anytime you feel negativity about your past and your failures, say, you know what? Today is a new day and I'm gonna try some new things. During this first phase, if you do belong to that daily drinking group, then you just want to monitor how it's going as far as cutting back. What are the triggers? What are the emotional instances where you feel, gosh, I need to drink? Start to track those and keep an audit. This is what I call a thought audit. So you can quite literally take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on the left side of that line, you're gonna write out all of the things and maybe even the exact sentences that you are saying in your mind that cause you to drink. Man, my boss is really peeing me off today. Man, my kids are stressing me out. I don't have time to finish this project. I'm so lazy. I'm thinking about all of my troubles with alcohol. Write down all of those thought narratives, and then on the right side, go to work to create the opposite. So think, what's the polar opposite of this statement? So that's a negative statement. We're gonna turn it into a positive. If maybe your sentence that's causing you to want to drink is, my boss is really making me angry today, you just create the opposite statement saying, I choose my emotions and I love my job. Now, that might feel a little fantastical right now, but keep saying it, because the more you say it, the more you believe it, and the more you program that into your belief system so that you're actually reaping the benefits of work versus focusing on all of the negative and all of the strife of work. So that's just one example of how to switch the narrative so that you're not being so reactive to your emotions and needing to escape with alcohol. That's the first phase. Secondly, during this cutback phase, you want to start with some little mini challenges for yourself. I talk a lot about Dr. Jordan Peterson because a lot of his medical work has been in the addiction study realm. And what he says is that a lot of us mess up because in the beginning we set our bar too high, which sounds kind of crazy, right? We want to set our intentions high. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you land amongst the stars, all that jazz. But let's be real. For us, it's been a while since we've even thought about shooting towards the moon. So we just need to create mini goals that stretch us a little bit, but allow us to regain personal and self-trust. So I want you to think about a friendship that you have, a relationship that you have. And if every time that friend or that maybe romantic partner promised that they were going to do something for you, and then they fell through every single time, you would probably stop trusting that friend, right? You probably wouldn't even want to hang out with them. Well, take a moment to reflect on how many times you've followed through on your personal promises. And that could shed some light on why you don't trust yourself. When you set big goals, in the back of your mind you think, yeah, I wish, I hope I could do that, but I don't actually believe it. So instead of setting those huge goals, set mini goals that are going to teach you to trust yourself again. Little things like making your bed when you first get out of the morning. Promise yourself that you're going to drink 16 ounces of water as soon as your feet touch the ground when you get out of bed. These little mini promises, little goals and challenges are going to help boost your confidence. These little shifts that you're going to make are going to help boost your confidence to know that you are powerful and you are in control of every aspect of your life. But it does need to be these little baby steps so you're not overwhelming yourself and saying, today I'm going to walk 20,000 steps and I'm going to hit the gym for 2 hours. That's too overwhelming. That's too much of a switch from your current lifestyle. So again, slow and steady wins the race. All right, this brings us to kind of phase 3, which is deciding to take an extended alcohol vacation. So leading up from phase 1 and 2, you've been cutting back progressively and getting little wins under your belt and building self-trust. So the third phase is to kind of put a deadline on it and say, you know what, I'm going to try for a full 7 days without alcohol. I'm going to try for a whole 14 days, maybe even a month. However long that you can give yourself so that you, in the back of your mind, aren't promising to yourself that you're going to go forever. Again, that's very overwhelming for your mind to process and accept and commit to. But you say, I'm going to go for 2 weeks or I'm going to go for 30 days. Whatever that block looks like, this block is devoted to you reclaiming your identity. Up until this point, depending on how long you've been drinking and kind of how much in the rut you were, it's very likely that alcohol has become your entire personality. So everything you think about, even on a subconscious level, you're relating it back somehow to alcohol. You're thinking, am I gonna get to drink? Is this gonna involve having a drink beforehand? Are my friends gonna wanna go to eat somewhere at a cocktail bar? You're really relating things to alcohol. So we need to break up with it. If you kind of think about a romantic relationship, you very much have been in a relationship with alcohol, and we need to break up with it long enough that if we see it around, we're not spun up in emotions. Think about an ex. If every time you see an ex, toxic ex, you get really emotional about it. You see them 3 days after the breakup, 5 days after the breakup. Oh my gosh, I hate this. It's so uncomfortable. But let's say you don't see them for a month, a year, and then you see them again. The emotions have subsided, you've healed, you've created your new identity, you've found new things to be passionate about, and now you might even be able to have a congenial conversation in public together. Now think about that in relation to alcohol. You see it every once in a while, you're so triggered, but if you can cut it out for long enough to create your new identity and figure out some new things to be interested in and passionate about, then when you see it again, it doesn't have that romantic emotional draw anymore. You're not going to be obsessed with it. Hallelujah. So that is the third phase. All right, last up, this piece of advice actually kind of branches out into 2 avenues. I want you to have options, and I think that the normal, traditional sobriety approach does narrate just that you have to go completely sober. So yes, that is one branch. The other branch is that eventually, by creating your new identity and having goals that fulfill you and drive you, ambitions that are actually genuine to your spirit and your soul, you could reintroduce alcohol. Your health standards you could have a totally green light, clean slate of health from your doctor, and it'd be safe to reintegrate alcohol into your life maybe once a week or once a month, whenever you deem as a nice celebratory occasion or event. But absolutely, that's not necessary. You don't need alcohol in our life. We know from science that it has no health benefits. It actually really increases anxiety and depressive tendencies. So if you're gonna go that direction, I really, really encourage an extended alcohol vacation. I'm talking 6 months to a year to truly find out who you are, what you wanna do in life, and ensure that alcohol is truly irrelevant, and that if you have it, it's kind of like that conversation with the ex. You can be congenial, but then you move on and you're like, whew, so glad that's behind me. And then there's that other branch of complete sobriety. And I am saying, like, all the more power to you if that's what you choose in your life, because you're never going to have the binds of a hangover or anxiety induced by alcohol causing you to hate your life again. You're going to be totally free of that. But some people, that's just not really their jam. If it's your jam, go for it. What I say, though, is that instead of chasing sobriety, if you want this to be a lifelong adventure and accomplishment, then don't just focus on sobriety. Focus on the things that ensure happiness so that sobriety follows. Sobriety doesn't necessarily equate happiness, which I think traditional recovery really gets backwards. Just because you're sober doesn't mean you're happy, but if you're following your dreams and your ambitions, then you're not going to need to drink to escape. Happy people don't struggle with abusing alcohol and a toxic alcoholic relationship. So as long as you're maintaining happiness and thinking, how can I live happily today? How can I starve the darkness? How can I feed the light? How can I progress 1%? Then you're gonna be able to stave off those obsessive alcohol ideas. All right, now I'm ready to hear which ones of these phases sounded most intriguing, maybe where you can start, and which part about that phase really caught your ear or your eye as far as a launching pad for your success. Was it maybe phase 2, learning to cut back but also focus on the positive? Was it phase 3, where you actually set an intended deadline for your alcohol vacation and focus on mending that relationship with alcohol? I want to know in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway? And make sure that you subscribe so that you're continuously learning how to keep your mindset set forward, focused on hope, focused on ambitions and power rather than powerlessness, because it's all about magnifying the good so that you can think different in order to drink different or never again.